Greetings everyone, and welcome to Module 4. We have now completed a third of the course, having completed Module 3 last week, so we are well underway. I hope you're enjoying some of the material we are covering. Last week we did a few things that were importance. We continued the discussion in our textbook on different career opportunities, and we're going to continue that again this week. We also looked at the Stevenson book and his description of some of the specific cases that he handled. I know some of you were troubled by what you read, especially with regard to the Richardson case, Herbert Richardson. As you may recall, he was executed, but the process hardly seemed like a fair process. Death penalty cases have two stages: the guilt-innocent stage, in which a determination is made as to whether the person accused is guilty, and a penalty phase. The penalty phase is supposed to involve the mitigating and aggravating circumstances. So an aggravating circumstance might be a prior record of violent crime. Mitigating circumstance might be something like mental health difficulties or PTSD as a result of serving in the military. In the case of Herbert Richardson, he did serve in the military, and there were some mental health consequences. However, this was not entered into the trial. And from Stevenson's point of view, this simply compromised the fairness of the proceeding. It should have been entered into the trial, but I think, as you have seen from what you've read already, indigent offenders don't always get the best representation, especially if they're minorities in the South. Of course, the work he did was in the South. It doesn't mean that other parts of the country are immune from some of the difficulties that he's run across. In Module 4, we will step away from the Stevenson book and focus on your job search and promotional plan. This is important. It's important when you do something significant to have a plan, not just to ricochet around and hope that everything turns out okay. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't really have a plan to do anything. I sort of stumbled from class to class. I didn't take my books home with me, and as a result, I ended up not doing very well. As I matured a little bit, hopefully, by the time I got to college, I figured some of this out. And the same thing applies when you're thinking about career moves, either finding that first job or seeking a better position or getting a promotion. You have to have a plan, and this week we'll focus on the job search as well as promotional plan. In the instructions for the promotional plan assignment, you will see that I've provided an example of what one should look like. I hope you'll find that useful. And again, if you have any questions about putting together the plan, please don't hesitate to let me know. We will do one thing related to criminal justice, and that is you'll be looking at a couple of videos on the prison system in Norway. I think we often tend to think that the way we do things in our country is the only way to do things, when in fact, of course, that's not true, and has not necessarily to do with the justice system. Could be all kinds of things. As I'm sure many of you know, most developed Western countries provide daycare services. We don't do that in this country. We're the only Western country that has the death penalty. Other countries find other ways of dealing with violent crime. So you'll have a chance to look at some videos and share your thoughts on what you observed in those videos in our discussion. As always, I look forward to your observations and comments in the discussion, and as it has been the case during the course of the term, I hope you'll share your ideas with each other and interact in our discussion. Okay, that's about it. Last week you submitted your requests for time slots for the mock interview. Make sure you've gone over those instructions and are familiar with the Zoom software that we'll be using. That's important. You don't want to be scrambling to figure out how to use it on the day of your interview. Okay, have a great week, and I'll see you on the discussion board, as always.